no further releases and no opportunity for renegotiation.
So that is what the power sounds like when it's no longer pretend.
This closed-door energy auction is now in session, authorized under emergency market conditions for the United Kingdom. The asset offered today is 100 hours of electricity, the final strategic reserves for the UK's northern regions this winter.
£5 million. It's a lot of money. A lot of reason is just that we can't afford it. Nothing is short is net worth. So keep track to the same standard. But there are 200 factories water.
Yes, this is so from the very beginning and we have no choice in this. So we need to do this.
There will be no further releases and no opportunity for renegotiation. And the auction follows a pay-as-bid format with the opening price at £5 million sterling and the minimum increments of £100 million. You are not bidding on energy alone, you are bidding on heat for homes and power for nation under pressure. Who will open at £5 billion?
£5 billion.
£5 billion is noted.
In the last week it's right together, and honestly, we cannot afford this. My shop is day away from shutting down because of these skyrocketing views. But I'm not here for myself only. I'm here for the Manufacturers Association. Look at the paper. If today we don't secure these energy contracts at a fair price today, 200 factories will be gone tomorrow morning. We are talking about tens of thousands of workers, fathers, mothers, young applicants who will be left on streets with no food, no surveillance, no baying. Yes, just low.
Your bid and position have been clearly stated. The floor remains open.
Tragic story. I sympathize, but I am here to pay for energy, not to show whose pain is greater.
Yours are my hands. My dear friend, you are viewing this crisis through a narrow lens of a lecture. I am viewing this through a map of a nation. You offer the rise of 200 factories and 10,000 jobs. I hear the tragedies in your voice, I truly do. But now listen to my price. £7 billion, set in the weight of 10 million households.
Your bid and justifications are on record.
We are talking about Britain where, without this reserve, fewer poverty cases to be a headline and becomes a death warrant.
Strong word, Minister. They don't change the cost.
We aren't just discussing wages. We are talking about 7 million people choosing between heating or eating. You want to say factories? I must say the FNH words and the elderly raising in their homes. A blackout isn't a technical glitch. It's a fuel for the total social collapse. If the lights go out in London or Manchester, the resulting riots will make 2011 look like school feet. The police cannot stop the populace that were freezing and forgotten. My bid of 7 billion isn't for profit, it's for the survival of the state. with a forecasted 5% GDP contraction. There will be no economy left for your factories to serve if our citizens freeze. The currencies I am trading today is stability.
Your bid and justifications are on record.
Stability, I'm afraid, still needs funding.
This is the only coin that matters in this group. We must bring funds for our national security and human life. We can rebuild a workshop, but we cannot resurrect the dead. I'm not here to buy power, gentlemen. I'm here to buy order.
I understand the minister's position. In immediate term, preventing systemic collapse and social panic is a legitimate priority. At moments like this, not every division can wait for a perfect solution. However, if we call this stability, I think we should call it just a borrowed time, not a victory.
20 billion.
20 billion pounds has been stated.
Fascinating speeches. One of you speak of morality. You, minister, you pick up people, of your people. But let me ask a far simple question. Which one of you can control energy? Minister, your treasury is already hemorrhaging. Subsidized, bailouts, money borrowed from institutions that I own shares in. And you, my illustrious friend, this means it's not for the faint-hearted like you and your co-workers. Energy doesn't disappear. It merely changes hands. Someone can pay the price, then he or she can survive the winter. If factories can afford the price, it still keep running. If cities can afford the price, it will stay lit. The markets never promised any mercy. I'm not buying 100 terawatt hours of electricity. I'm buying the right to decide who survives the winter. 20 billion, and I assure you, everything will continue to function on my terms.
The bid of 20 billion pounds is formally recorded. The option remains open to further bids.
So that is what the power sounds like when it no longer pretends to care. She doesn't deny the suffering she rises to her. Winter, illiterate, and families in city are nothing more than a number. When she says everything will continue to function, she meant that the machine will run without the people who built it. And in that moment, I realized there was nothing a negotiation. It was a verdict.
Are you all out of your minds? 20 billion pounds just to keep an energy system that's already dying? Do you even hear what you're saying? While you're here fighting over the last grasp of fossil power, the renewable grid, the one thing that could actually keep the prices stable, is being ignored. No batteries, no grid upgrades, no backup plans when things go wrong. And you call this energy security? This isn't security, it's in panic. Every serious report says the same thing. We don't lack sun, we don't lack wind, we lack infrastructure and the courage to fix it. And instead of fixing what's broken, you're throwing billions at a system that's already falling apart on its own. You make money by turning shortages into profits. And you are buying peace today by destroying tomorrow. The money we spend today could have built large-scale battery. It could have strengthened the grid. It could have stopped this winter crisis from happening again and again. But no, you chose a short-term fix over the future.
Congratulations, you're not fixing the problem, you're disrupting it. A moving speech professors, but I'm afraid she's mistaken this crisis room for a classroom. Her batteries and wind farms warranted 10 million homes this January. She has the luxury of dreaming about the future, but I have the burdens of surviving the present. Without today, there is no tomorrow for her visions. I am choosing order over a ring utopia that doesn't exist yet.
All bids have been heard. This emergency auction has one mandate to secure energy for the coming winter. And my decision is not on morality or future policy. It is a determination of capacity. At 20 billion pounds, the oligarch's bid is the highest. She alone has demonstrated the liquidity and readiness to deploy without any delay.
I need more time to seek authorization.
The rules do not permit extinctions. No other bid guarantees delivery within the critical time frame. The bid of 20 billion pounds is accepted. The allocation is rewarded to the highest bidder. The auction is closed.
I will accept this with the outcome.
I cannot accept it too.
I'm so disappointed.
Why she is the one who gets the final result?
I'm angry because I know this result will keep us trapped in the same cycle. I work in renewable energy and I have seen this pattern everywhere. During crisis, money rushes to fossil power because it feels immediate, while clean energy is treated like a future problem. But that thinking is exactly what creates these emergencies. I have studied energy stress in various countries, including Vietnam. Vietnam doesn't lack sun or wind. What it lacks, like many other countries, is enough grid capacity, storage, and long-term investment. And the important thing is the government still plays a central role in planning and pricing, which helps make the energy affordable and the renewable power becomes have the potential to continue to grow. And if the government give up control now, clean energy loses twice, prices will become harder to manage, and investments will shift back to old systems that depend on scarcity and fuel shocks. So the money we spend today can be used to build storage, and it can be used to stop the winter crisis from happening again and again. But we chose to bought a temporary calm and locked ourselves into another crisis.
Make no mistake, this was a calculated judgment decision. Draining the treasury now will collapse about fuel runaway inflation and jeopardize our budget investment route. By letting the private sectors absorb the immediate risk part, we reserve our fiscal headroom for the targeted intervention. They may own the switch, but the government still owes the regulator and the broadcast. I didn't buy energy today. I want the stability of the state and the necessary time to rebuild our domestic energy security post-Brexit.
People will talk about today for centuries. They call it immoral, short-sighted, or corrupt. but they're missing the point. Energy crises don't start in rooms like this, they start far away, in sanctions, in conflicts, in decisions made by the powers, just like the US pressures Venezuela. Supply shrinks, markets tighten, and prices rise. I was the only one who speaks the only language that this system still understands: capacity. This winter, the lights still stay on, not because the system is fair, but because there was someone willing to pay for reality.
We acknowledge the outcome of the bidding process and respect the rule under which it was conducted. However, acceptance does not mean silence. As a representative of workers, small businesses, and local manufacturers, I must express my deep concern about what this decision means for our economy. Energy is not just a commodity, it's the foundation of jobs, productivity, and social stability. And when access to energy is just determined by slowly purchasing power, the small businesses and the whole community will bear the rate of cost. Yes, we recognize the need for efficiency and the market discipline. However, the decision made here will shape the livelihood and the public trust long after today.
Critics will call this position immoral, but they are looking at the wrong room. Energy crises are born elsewhere in the sanctions and strategic games played by powers like the United States. By the time it reaches the UK, foreign policy had become local panic. This wasn't a choice for justice, it was a move for survival in a system that only respects capacity. We haven't solved the crisis, we simply bought time. The lights will stay on this winter, not because we are right, but because in reality, we just reality, not ideal.